Hello, my name is Yana Reznik and I'm originally from Russia. I now reside in Los Angeles and my family moved to United States in 1995. Well, I studied in Russia until I was 14 years old in the Rachmaninoff School of Music, and then when my family moved I found out about Interlochen Arts Academy in Michigan, and I studied there for 2 years and then moved to New York, and I was in New York for 5 years at the Manhattan School of Music, and then life brought me to Los Angeles to study with John Perry at USC and then Colburn. My grandmother was a musician, she was a singer, and my mother was a singer as well. And my mother was pregnant with me and she was working at the professional church choir in Russian Orthodox Church. Saturday night she went to a service and Sunday morning I was born. So, that was really, I think, the core of I probably felt it when I was still in the womb of my mother. I play mainly classical music and piano. I collaborate with other musicians on the cello or violin or singers, whatever other instruments I can combine. And I also work with kids. I teach them and I educate them about what music is all about. I express myself through my music. That is the best way for me to fulfill and channel my energy through the music into the people's hearts. I truly believe music is energy. If you think about what music is, you can't really narrow it down. I mean, what is music? You take rhythm, you take a pitch, you put it in a certain amount of time. What comes out is much more than that. It's not just pitches and the right timing, the right rhythms, right? But then how do you explain soul? How do you explain the amount of energy that somebody gives to you? You can't see it. There's so much greater energy that flows out of it. The frequencies that hit you in a particular moment when you listen to something, it goes straight into your heart and it makes you feel emotions. And nobody can explain why it happens, but it does. I mean, I play happy music, you'll be happy. I play sad music, you'll be sad. And it's a very powerful thing that is not really describable. When an artist, as a musician, for example, I'm limited only to the sound, right? So I can only express some kind of sound form, right? But I think the higher art is the ability of the person to really make you imagine that painting, and all of a sudden you will have that image just by listening to somebody perform. All of a sudden you'll create images in your head. And I have witnessed those experiences actually do happen. When I perform something and I really, really, really strongly imagine some picture in my brain, the audience feels it, they pick it up, and they would come to me and say, that second movement was like walking in the woods somewhere with the sunshine and beautiful, almost rainy kind of day, and it was just absolutely incredible. And I said, that's amazing, that's exactly what I was picturing. So there's this transformation, like how does it happen at such subconscious level of energy that, just transforms. It is the language, a universal language, obviously. Music, anybody can listen to something and understand what it's all about. And I find it so fascinating when, you go to a festival. I've been to many, many festivals, music festivals during the summer, for example, and it's full of international students. And you have a Japanese person, you have somebody from Poland, somebody Russian, somebody American. You put them together in a chamber group, and you give them the music, and you say play, and they all play. And what ends up happening is they don't need to communicate with each other in that one language. They communicate through music, and all of a sudden you get to know the person, because you cannot hide. You can hide behind the words. You can have a barrier conversing with somebody when you speak, because you don't know which language to use, right? But then when you're doing music, when you're making music together, you can't hide behind anything. Your soul comes out. You get to know the person by the way they're performing. If they're shy, they probably will play shyly. If they're passionate, they probably will play passionately. And you can't hide. It's, and everybody unites in this art making in this music, and everybody becomes best friends, or enemies, but best friends, of course, because you start communicating with each other on this higher level. When I was little, I considered my mother to be very, very happy at all times. She would never show me her sadness or if she was going through some difficult times. But then she would sit down at the piano and play this beautiful Chopin prelude. And I knew what was going on in her heart. And I was little, I was 6 years old. I wasn't supposed to know any of the problems that people had, right? Especially my mother, she was always very positive. And she would sit down and play, and I just felt it. I was like, I know what she's going through. We never talked about it, but I just knew. I said, my mother is sad, she's going through something, but it was in the music. I believe truly that kids have much greater intuition and much greater potential to feel those energies around you. But then as we grow up, it just goes somewhere, we kind of just kill it in us. And if we don't explore that energy or seeing that energy or, intuition, it just dies, and eventually we just forget all about it. When I was little, somehow I thought that I was put on this earth and everything around me was made up as like a play, right? Just for me to grow up somehow, okay? I had this, I was like 2-3 years old, and I had the very, very strong feeling that I was being watched. At everything I do, I was being watched by a cameraman. It was so strong in me. I said, you know what, I don't know what it is, a God or, universe, whatever it was watching me all the time. And then as, I grew up, or was growing up, I realized, you know what, I'm not the only person out here, everybody else is in the same boat. And you just kind of put that feeling aside. But I think it wasn't really that I was so special. It's just that I had more connection with the universe at that point. And same thing with meditation, you don't just sit down and all of a sudden you have the, experience, out-of-body experience, right? You have to learn how to do it. You have to awaken yourself to that experience. You have to open yourself up, open your heart, and just start tuning into what's happening. I believe that absolutely every single person on earth is capable of that special intuition. Thank you so much for joining me and in my today's interview, and I hope I was able to inspire you. Listen to the music, listen to yourself, listen to your soul, open your heart, and thank you Urban Sage TV for having me. Better?
Great.